Hi everyone, today we're going to do some test prep for the English portion of the ACT. We're going to look specifically at apostrophes, which are those little marks that look kind of like commas, but they show up at the top of the word instead of the bottom of the word. So there are only two reasons we would use an apostrophe. One is to create a possessive noun, and one is to create a contraction. Today we're going to look at creating possessive nouns. So a possessive noun is a person, place, or thing that owns something, right? Something belongs to that person or belongs to that place or belongs to that thing. Today I want to look at trees as an example of trying to decide if the word is possessive or not. So let's look at this first sentence. The tree's trunk is curved. Ask yourself, does something belong to the tree? Yes, it's the trunk. The trunk belongs to the tree. So that makes trees possessive, which means we need the apostrophe in it. If we look at the second sentence here, the trees are beautiful, and ask ourselves, does something belong to the trees? The answer is no. In this sentence, there's nothing that belongs to the trees, so we do not need the apostrophe. All right, so once you've decided that you're dealing with a possessive noun and you know you need an apostrophe in it, the question is, where does that apostrophe go? You know, you've heard this before. There's apostrophe S, there's S apostrophe. Here's the thing. I think the rule is very simple, and sometimes we just make it harder than it needs to be. So it's the one simple rule. If the word ends in S, add an apostrophe at the end. And then that will look at like this S apostrophe ending. If the possessive word does not end in S, then you have to add an apostrophe S. All right. So this is once you've decided the word is possessive, where do I put the apostrophe? This is the rule that you want to come back to over and over again. If the word ends in S, add an apostrophe. If the word does not end in S, add apostrophe S. Yes, you have to memorize that one rule, but once you've memorized that one rule, you're golden. You should be fine with this. Some people complicate it when we get into plurals because, to make most nouns plural, you add an S. And so then they make up all these extra rules for it. I say, don't make up extra rules for it. Just remember the one simple rule. Look at your word, and if it's plural, that's fine. Make it plural, and then apply the rule. So let's look at this. Trees is our word in question here. The trees' trunks are curved. Now, is it possessive? Yes, the trunks belong to the trees. So I need an apostrophe. Here, because there's more than one trunk, I have to assume there's more than one tree, right? So I take the plural form of tree, which is trees, and I apply our one simple rule. Does trees end in S? Yes, it does. So all I need to do is add the apostrophe at the end. See how it's the same rule? It doesn't matter if trees is singular or plural. If trees ends in S, that's the word we need, then just add the apostrophe. Let's look at children. Children is another plural, right? More than one child. The children's lunch is ready. First, is it possessive? Yes. The lunch belongs to the children. So I need to take children and make it possessive. Ask myself, does children end in S? No, it does not. So to make it possessive, I have to add apostrophe S. So what I want you to see here is it doesn't matter if it's plural or singular. Both of these words are plural, more than one child, more than one tree. All that matters is, does the word end in S? More than one tree is trees, ends in S, needs the apostrophe. More than one child is children, does not end in S, it needs apostrophe S. All right, a little more practice with that. The dog's tails are wagging. Here, the tails belong to the dogs, so it's possessive. More than one tail means more than one dog. If it's dogs, right, that ends in S, so it just ends with an apostrophe. The dress's sleeves are too long. Here, the sleeves belong to the dress, so it is possessive. Does dress end in S? Yes. So it gets an apostrophe at the end. Chris's car is parked out front. Does something belong to Chris? Yes, the car. So Chris needs to be possessive. Does Chris end in S? Yes. So just add the apostrophe. So look at this. It doesn't matter if your word is plural, like in dog's tails. It doesn't matter if it's singular, like in dresses sleeves. It doesn't matter if it's someone's name, like Chris's car. If it's a possessive noun and it ends in S, all you have to do is add the apostrophe. You are going to see this little thing sometimes where it's Chris's with people's names, C-H-R-I-S apostrophe S. This is old-fashioned. ACT considers it incorrect, so don't choose this option if it's ever presented to you. Okay. There is a little bit of a sticky situation. Wouldn't be grammar if there weren't, right? And that's compound possessives. What if two people own something? We're going to use Jack and Jill and their bucket. So here, if the bucket belongs to both Jack and Jill, one bucket, Jack owns it, Jill owns it, they share it, it's their bucket together. We're going to treat Jack and Jill as one possessive noun. If Jack and Jill ends in S, then we would just add an apostrophe. But Jack and Jill does not end in S, so to make Jack and Jill possessive, we just add apostrophe S. That leaves us with Jack and Jill's bucket. If, however, Jack owns his own bucket and Jill owns her own bucket, and they're not sharing a bucket, they each have their own, then each of those possessive nouns needs to be turned into a plural. Or I'm sorry, a possessive. Each of those nouns needs to be turned into a possessive. Jack's bucket, Jill's bucket. Okay. The weirdness, I think, comes in, what if the bucket belongs to Jack and me? What if Jack and I own a bucket together? Could we do this like up here where two people own one object and so we treat those two people as one possessive noun, Jack and Jill's? That would make Jack and my's. That's not okay. Hopefully you can hear that's wrong. So if you are one of the owners, you're going to do Jack's and my. And I know this seems like yet another rule to remember, and I mean, maybe it is, but I kind of think it makes sense because if you take Jack out of it, wouldn't you just say my bucket? And if you take me out of it, wouldn't you just say Jack's bucket? So you can see how, even though it's sort of an exception or a weird situation, it still is logical. All right, moving forward. How's this going to look on the ACT? Well, on the ACT, you're going to have some reading to do over here. I would not read the whole article. Read the sentence with the underlined word. You can usually get what you need out of the sentence. Every now and then, you may have to read the sentence before and after as well. And then there's multiple choice options, and they're asking you, do you want to leave the underlined portion as is? If so, choose no change, or do you want to change it to one of these other options? So here we can see the underlined word is families. It looks kind of strange to me. Hopefully it looks strange to you. Let's read the sentence and decide what to do here. Benjamin Banneker, African-American inventor and astronomer, grew up on his family's farm in colonial Maryland. So I know that this is an apostrophe question because look at my options. There's apostrophes in some and they're in different places. Maybe this one doesn't offer an apostrophe. They're clearly testing me on, do I know how to handle the apostrophe in this word? All right, so the first thing I'm going to ask myself when I know it's an apostrophe question is this possessive? Does something belong to the family? And the answer here is yes, of course, the farm belongs to the family. And now because my options have singular and plural form of family, I need to know, is the word singular or plural? Only because the singular form of the word does not end in S and the plural form of the word does end in S. And I need to know that in order to know where to put my apostrophe. So I'm going to assume that Benjamin Banneker's family is just one family. So that's singular. So when I'm figuring out where to put my apostrophe, or how to make the word possessive, right? I'm going to consider the word family, singular, family. So that one simple rule, if the word ends in S, add an apostrophe. If the word does not end in S, add apostrophe S. Does family end in S? It does not. So I need to add apostrophe S. So this option is incorrect. I need B, family, and made possessive by adding apostrophe S. All right, your turn to try some. So number 1 here, the students paid close attention to Mr. Smith's instructions. So when I look over here, and that's with all of these, so I won't say it over and over again, but you can see from the options, these are all apostrophe questions. All right, so I'm going to ask the first question. Does something belong to Mr. Smith? Sure, they're his instructions. So that makes it possessive. So I need an apostrophe. This means I can eliminate option A that does not have an apostrophe, and I can eliminate option D that does not have an apostrophe. This leaves me apostrophe S or S apostrophe. So the one simple rule, does Mr. Smith end in S? Mr. Smith. No. So I need to add apostrophe S in order to make it possessive. B is the correct answer here. All right. Number 2, his students won't respect him if he doesn't treat them fairly. So, students, is this possessive? Does something belong to the students? No, right? Nothing belongs to them here. So this means this is not possessive. So I do not need an apostrophe. So I can eliminate options B and C because they have apostrophes in them. So now, do I want student or students? Because it says if he doesn't treat them fairly, right? I can get that clue from the sentence. It doesn't treat them fairly. I know that's more than one student. So that means I need students. So my answer is A, no change. Number 3, the principal values all the parents' opinions. Does something belong to the parents? Yes, the opinions, right? Now, if this is possessive, I know I need the apostrophe, so I can eliminate options A and D. Am I dealing with one parent or plural parents? I need to know because I need to know where I'm putting that apostrophe. All the parents. So that to me tells me that there's more than one parent. So I'm going to consider the word parents. Does parents end in S? Yes. So all I need to do is add the apostrophe. So what is the correct answer to number 3? Good. It's C. Lastly, here we have Hansel and Gretel. So Hansel and Gretel's mother has strong opinions. So does something belong to Hansel and Gretel? Sure, the mother. I mean, they don't technically own her, but right, she's their mother. So we need this possessive noun here. Does Hansel and Gretel end in S? It does not. So we need the apostrophe. But remember, Hansel and Gretel, this is their mother together, just like Jack and Jill's bucket together. So we treat it as one possessive noun, and we only need the apostrophe after the second one. C, Hansel and Gretel's. All right, that is it for apostrophes in possessive nouns. If you have any questions or concerns about this, ask your advisor. If he or she can't help you, please, please, please feel free to ask me. Sometimes having a two-way conversation is a lot better than having a one-way conversation, which is what a video does. So get hold of me if you have questions or concerns, and have a great day.